And I'm going to record this presentation. I'm not going to record the Q&A because I don't want anybody's personal information. If anybody asks a personal question, that's just going to stay here. But I do like to record the presentation just in case anybody wants it, or if somebody missed our workshop tonight, they can have the replay. So yeah, let's jump right in. The financial goal setting workshop, how to achieve your financial goals in 12 months or less. All right. So as Tracy already introduced me, I was a single mother for 10 years. And during that 10-year span, I paid off over $60,000 in less than 2 years. I became a wealth building woman. I launched Your Pretty Pennies and also became a full-time entrepreneur. I have recently in February 2020, gotten married and have not went from one child to a married woman with 3 children. So my husband brought 2 children to the marriage. And so we have a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, and 10-year-old. So as we go forward talking about finances, just know that I know about managing money either with a partner or spouse or with children. So if you have any questions around that as well, feel free to let me know. All right, let's jump right in. Create your personal vision statement. So when I created this 5-step process of setting and achieving a financial goal, the first thing I always start with is creating a personal vision statement. Now, when you think about a personal vision statement, so there we go. I want you to use this personal vision statement to identify the lifestyle you desire so you can align your finances with it. Now, I've been doing this work since 2015 when I launched my business, right? So that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That is 6 years I've been working with women, creating and identifying their financial goals, helping them achieve it, and really create the lifestyle they desire. I guarantee you, not one of those women started managing money well just to brag about managing money well. No one paid off debt just to pay off debt. I didn't pay off debt just to pay off debt. I created a financial plan for myself in order to execute it in order to really support the lifestyle I desire, something that moves beyond finances, okay? And so that's why it's so important to start with the personal vision statement. And oftentimes individuals do not do this. I don't see any other culture, financial expert talking about this, but this is really a game changer. And I spend a lot of time on this, every year, at the end of every year. So right in December of each year, to try to plan for the next following year, I really get clear on what I want in the following areas of my life, which is spirituality, health and fitness, my emotional health, personal development, intimate relationships, in my finances, in my business and career, in the area of giving or community service, friends and family, fun, and hobbies. So I get extremely clear on what it is that I want my next 12 months to look like. I am a believer of creating your life and chunking it down, any financial goal, any lifestyle goal in 12 months. That is a very manageable time frame. You can absolutely have 5-year goals, 3-year goals, 10-year goals, but those tangible, hard, concrete, realistic goals should be within the next year. Honestly, if you try to go past that and try to prolong a financial goal, you will run out of steam, you'll run out of momentum, you'll run out of just motivation to execute it. So let's keep it. What do we want to see in this area in the next 12 months? So that's step number 1. Now, when it says a personal vision statement, I want this to be a statement. I want you to write this out in present tense and say, in the next 12 months, this is what I desire in all these areas of my life. And then I want you to post it somewhere. So I want you to get quiet, get you some tea, coffee, wine, champagne, whatever it is you like to drink to unwind, right? And really take a moment to create your personal vision statement. Really create this of what you want to see for your life in 2023 and beyond, okay? Do not skip this step. This step is so important because remember, the reason why we are managing money well is to support that in which we desire, the lifestyle we desire, right? So we got to identify what said lifestyle is, correct? All right. So step number 2. So give me a 1 in the comments, and let me make sure I pull up the comment section. Give me a 1 in the comments if that makes sense. And I got my little chat box up here so I can see if anybody's okay. We got some 1s, period. Okay. Now I'm gonna take a moment And I'm gonna ask a question really quick. What is your current financial goal? If you can think of one goal that you can achieve in the next 12 months, if you can think of it off the top of your head, what would it be? Let me know in the comment section, what would it be? Buy a house. I see someone say buy a home. Student loans, girl, listen, debt freedom, buy a house, pay off debt. And I'm sure once you get said house, the next goal is going to be pay off the mortgage, right? Or let's do some renovations. Let's save some money to do some renovations or something like that. Increase savings. That's another big one. Create a cushion. So that's savings. That's like a nest egg. Yep. Increase saving, pay off credit cards. These are all common. And I love asking this question. Somebody said yes to renovations, because that's the next step, sis. Not only are we not about to get this house, we're about to make it look like how we want it to look, right? We ain't just up in there talking about oh, okay, we done once we get the house. No, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning of it, right? We need money to do all the other stuff in the house, pay off the house. Yep. I love this, and I love travel. I was waiting for that to come up. Because I'm like, ladies, y'all know y'all be traveling. We know we be some traveling women. Increase savings by plan to buy my first place. Yep. Travel, credit cards. As you notice, a lot of us have the same financial goals. A lot of us have the same financial desires. So you are never alone in your quest on what you're trying to do to create the lifestyle you desire. I just love asking this question so other women can say, okay, we all in the same place. We all on the same boat in a lot of ways, right? So let's move on to step number 2. Okay, so step number 2, we're going to create a SMART financial goal statement based on our goal. All right. So step number 1, let's recap. We're sitting down, we're getting cozy, we're getting comfortable. We've taken out a journal or a notebook, and we're writing what we desire for the next 12 months in our life, right? And we're going to go through every area. Now, this is not a lifestyle goal setting class, because I also do that, and you can tackle, but you can use these steps to tackle all those other areas in your life, because all these principles work the same, right? But we're just going to expound on what you write in the financial goal section, the finance section of step number 1. All right. And we're going to take that and we're going to create a financial goal statement around it. And if you want to do this for the other areas, like your spirituality, like your health and fitness, or, business or career, just follow this process, sis. And I guarantee you it works. It works just the same. Let's go back. All right. So let me minimize the chat. And actually, I'm going to minimize this as well. Here we go. So SMART financial goal statements. Now, these goal statements, as you can see, we're not just saying a SMART financial goal. We're making a whole statement. And I give a good example. So whenever we're creating any type of goal, I like to create statements because I want my goal to be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time sensitive. So I have an example about paying off student loans. A lot of people talked about that in the chat, but you can absolutely use this example. And I'm going to show you how in a minute, whether you're talking about buying a home, saving for a down payment, whether you're talking about paying off that mortgage, whether you're talking about creating a fund to travel to where you can travel consistently and don't have to worry about whether or not you got to pay for travel or pay your bills and, doing all that other stuff, robbing Peter to pay Paul. We can absolutely eliminate that by creating a really robust financial goal statement. So let's look at this example and break it down. I will pay at least $2,000 towards my Sallie Mae student loan during the next 12 months. I will pay an extra $167 per month on top of my minimum payment. I will work an extra 5 hours per week to increase my monthly income to cover this extra debt payment. Now, do you see how specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time sensitive that is? You can absolutely go through there and say, okay, specific. Yep. The whole thing is very specific. Measurable. I know how much I'm saving, and I know the time sensitive. I know how long I'm giving myself to achieve this. My actionables, I call them actionable sub goals, where not only am I identifying my goal, which is the first sentence, but the next 2 sentences is actionable. You're going to pay an extra $67 per month to your minimum payment. And then you're also going to work an extra amount to make sure it's realistic for you to set aside an extra $167, right? In step 3, we'll talk about budgeting to see how you can identify if at this present moment with your current income and your current expenses, if you can afford to handle a financial goal, and if you can't, how to handle that, okay? But yeah, this is just a great goal statement that's robust, that is super specific, and you can absolutely execute this in 12 months or less because you know exactly what you're going to do, when to do it, and how to do it. All right. Now, this is easily interchangeable for a savings goal. You can say, I will pay at least $2,000, or I will save at least $2,000 in my Navy Federal savings account within the next 12 months. You can even make it shorter, right? If you feel like you can save $2,000 in 6 months, you can say, I will pay at least $2,000. Sorry, I will save at least $2,000 in my Navy Federal savings account within the next 6 months. I will pay an extra. And what you do, you divide the amount that you're trying to achieve, divided by how many months you're giving yourself. Again, my max is 12. I don't give myself any longer to do something because I will lose motivation. I'll probably forget about it. I will just disengage from it, right? So I give myself 12 months or less to achieve a financial goal, right? And so you would do $2,000 divided by 12, that's $167. If you wanted to do a goal in 6 months or less, you would do $2,000. Let's do $2,000 divided by 6 months, that's $333.33, or you can round it up to $334 a month for the next 6 months. I will put in my savings account, and then I will save an extra $335 a month. And then you will work an extra, or you will get a couple more clients, or you will, whatever it is that the way you earn income, I want you to insert what you can do to increase your income to assure you can afford and you can achieve that financial sub goal each and every month. So by the end of the time that you're giving yourself, you know for a fact you've achieved your goal. Now put a 2 in the chat if this is like, hold up, wait a minute, I've never created a goal so clear before, and that is probably what I need to do in order to achieve my goal. I need to get extremely clear on what it is that I'm working towards, how can I do it, and how long it's going to take me. Let me get a 2 in the chat if that makes sense to you. Yes, yes, yes. Right? And again, this can work for travel fund. If you want to establish a travel fund, say if you want $5,000 in a savings account that's separate from your personal savings, right? How long are you going to give yourself to save that? 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, right? Divide that amount that's your goal, $5,000, by the how many months, and that's what you need to do. That's how much you need to put every month in that account until you build it up, right? When you're talking about credit cards, this absolutely works. Just take out Sally Mae and put in your credit card, right? And you just keep paying that off. You just keep working the numbers until it's paid off, right? Now let's talk about if you have something like a student loan that's $50,000. So what you want to do is, if I'm encouraging you to think of 12 months increments, for a lot of people, $50,000 is not realistic to pay off in the course of 12 months. Right? So what you want to do is, instead of looking at the big number of how much total you have for a student loan, maybe look at one of the student loans that's $5,000. Or if it's all just one loan number, you can just say, I'm going to commit to paying $3,000 off in the next 12 months, or I'm committing to paying $5,000 of this $50,000 student loan in the next 12 months, right? You don't have to focus on that full 50. You focus on what is realistic for you. All right. Give me a 3 in the chat if that makes sense. It is very important to create a realistic, it's going to cause you to be a little uncomfortable, but it has to be realistic. It has to be realistic. Thank you for all the 3s. It has to be realistic, okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. If it's something major, a big credit card bill, don't look at the $50,000 on a credit card. Don't look at the $40,000. Look at, okay, I'm accomplishing $5,000 this year, and next year I'll do something else. All right, makes sense? So step 3. So step 1, we created our personal vision statement. Step 2 is to create a goal statement based on the finance portion of what you want to do in the next 12 months. So for some of us, that's vacation fund. For some of us, that's, saving for a down payment on our first home. For some of us, that's paying off credit card debt. Some of us, that's paying off a certain amount of student loans, whatever the case is, right? So the next thing we got to do, and part of that, keeping it realistic and keeping it to where we know we're going to see this thing through, we have to create a monthly budget and make sure that not only, there we go, not only are we giving, saving, paying our monthly expenses, but we're achieving our financial sub goal. This is key, right? This is key. So whenever you create a budget, my preferred method is a zero-based budget. That means your income minus your expenses equals 0. Okay. And so let's say, for example, let's just do a nice solid number, $1,000. Let's say if our income is $1,000 and the standard person likes to give 10%, likes to save 10%, likes to pay their expenses with everything else, right? I'm inviting you to think about, number one, to get all your income sources together, write it out for the month, or, use the financial zero-based budget template that I have on my website, or you could use the Ultimate Financial Planner if you're familiar with me. There's so many ways to get a zero-based budget, right? You can even do this on a piece of paper. Write the income, write your expenses, and then try to make that equal 0, okay? So most individuals do 10% for giving, 10% for savings, and then they pay the rest on their expenses. I'm inviting you to do 10% for giving, 10% for savings, identify how much your monthly expenses are, and cut some if you are not able to use any extra income for a sub goal so you can work on your sub goal. Okay. So let's say if we have an income of $1,000. So 10% of that, $100 will go to giving. 10% of that will go to savings, right? Now, I want you to think, well, okay, now I have $800 left. What am I going to do with the rest of my income? If my goal is to put $167 towards my Sally Mae student loan, or towards my savings, or towards my vacation fund, I'm going to subtract the $100 from giving from my $1,000, and then another 100. So that leaves us at 800. And then let's say if our goal was $167, now we got $600.33. That's left in our budget. So you will look at all your monthly expenses and you will just identify and say, okay, if all of my expenses can be covered by that $633, great. If I have money left over after my expenses, the rest of that needs to go towards my financial sub goal. If I cannot manage to do give, save, pay my bills, and then achieve a financial sub goal, that is why we did that goal statement in the beginning, where we make it realistic, because you're going to have to either start decreasing some expenses temporarily until you create, until you get to where you want to be in that financial goal, or it could be permanent. If you know you need to tighten up the spending, if you know you need to get better at managing your grocery budget, or managing your out to eat budget, or managing how much you spend on clothes and shoes, or whatever that looks like, do that. Because I guarantee you, when you sit down and write your personal vision statement, all those things that you spend your money on is not showing up in that personal vision statement. Right? You want to focus on vacation. You want to focus on a home. You want to focus on debt freedom. And yet every time an ad pops up on Instagram or on Facebook, because they know how to target us oh so well, or every time there's a sale in your inbox, in your email, and somebody give you a coupon code, you're ready to spend. But yet that is not what you wrote in your personal vision statement when it came to your finances and how you wanted to manage your money. Correct? Give me a 4 in the chat if you picking up what I'm putting down. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, give me a 4 in the chat, right? And so we have to get clear and say, all right, either I'm going to have to increase my income, decrease my expenses, or both. So each and every month, I have money to do these 4 things. I have money to do these 4 things, okay? And so you're going to have to get clear whether if you work a 9 to 5, if you work salary and you can't get any extra income, what can you do on the side to generate income? That is your goal. Or what expenses can you cut to where you have more disposable income to go towards your financial sub goal after you give, save, and pay your bills? Somebody is unmuted, by the way. Uh-oh. We were able to see it, Tracy? I don't hear any more background, so I think we're good.
I think we're good. I'll keep looking.
Okay. So then step number 4. So just to recap, again, I like to do recaps because with financial goal setting and finances, it can get kind of, all right, like my eyes are starting to gloss over. So I like to just take a deep breath, kind of recap, step it out. Hopefully you take a screenshots of the picture. Oh. There we go. Okay. Hopefully you're taking screenshots or taking notes to where you know what to do each step. But that first step, personal vision statement. Step number 2 is that goal statement for your financial goal for this 12 months or less. The third thing is to create that monthly budget, that zero-based budget, to make sure that you're able to afford and to be able to categorize exactly how you're going to manage money to ensure you reach that financial sub goal each month, so that by the end of that 6 months or 8 months or 12 months, you are hitting your goal each and every month. Now, step number 4 is to check in and track your progress at least monthly. Now, sis, this is a big one, because one thing, we're working with clients one-on-one. I'm a financial success coach, and I work with clients one-on-one. And I've noticed until they start working with me that they will get to the point where they will sit down and know their income, know their expenses, and even write out a budget, but they won't check in with the budget to ensure that they're staying on track in each of the categories of spending, so that they make sure that they're achieving any goal that they set for themselves. And so that's why I say your financial plan doesn't work unless you do. If you sit down and you create a monthly budget that includes a financial goal, and you're like, all right, this looks great. This is my income. This is how I'm spending my money. This is how much I'm going to put towards that financial goal. And by the end of 12 months, I'm going to have my vacation fund. By the end of 12 months, I'm going to have $5,000 paid off of my student loan, or I'm going to have my $10,000 down payment or my $20,000 down payment for my first home. That's all great, but you got to make sure your day-to-day actions align with that, in which the goal that you put on paper, right? So that means checking in with your budget and checking in with those categories, tracking your expenses to making sure that you are staying within your targets for each of those categories. You got to make sure that the amount you've allocated on paper is the amount you're spending in real life. So this means that you just no frivolous trips to Target no more in 2023. If you're getting serious about managing money and creating financial goals and executing them, and not dragging them from 2021 to 2022. Okay, I'm gonna recommit in 2023. Okay, I'm gonna recommit in 2024. This is my year to buy a home in 2024. Nah, if you want to start really executing financial goals on a consistent basis and trusting yourself to manage goals well, you have to check in with it, and you have to have the discipline to make sure that you're not overspending in one area. Because let's be real, if you say I'm only spending $500 in groceries and dining out this month, and then you spend $800, well, that money got to come from somewhere. Guess what? You're going to say, well, it's not super important for me to pay off put an extra debt payment over here, or, I'll just catch up next month. I'll just put two times the amount in my vacation fund, or whatever other financial goal. You're going to start backtracking. You're going to start, giving yourself outs on what you can do and what you can't do when it comes to your financial goal. So the goal is to just check in daily, weekly, and monthly to make sure you stay on track. All right. Give me a 5 in the comments if that makes sense. In the chat, if that makes sense. All right. Who's committed to making sure that they create that goal, create that budget, and check in with it? You should be you and your financial goal should be here, right? For the whole 2024 here, until it's checked off your to-do list. Y'all should be here. So that way, whenever you scrolling on Facebook, whenever you scrolling on, YouTube or Twitter or wherever you are, and you start getting sold to, right? Or when you in somebody's email sequence in your email inbox and they say, hey, candle day is today. Hey, you know what? We got 50% off all candles today at Bath and Body Works, right? Give me a 1 in the chat if you knew about Candle Day. Give me a 2 in the chat if you actually bought anything on Candle Day, but I didn't. I got so many candles, I ain't even go. My best friend went, I ain't even go to Candle Day last weekend. But you got to be like, all right, either I'm going to work my financial plan or I'm going to give in to this temptation. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. Right. And so all 2020, if you've been a little bit relaxed on your financial goals, good. Good. Like, enjoy, keep that memory, enjoy that, and just say 2023, I'm getting more serious. 2023, I'm getting more serious. And you could put that in the chat. Write that in the chat. 2023, I'm getting more serious with my finances. Right. 2022 was cool. 2021 was cool, 2020 was cool, but it's time to get back on track. It's starting to execute financial goals. It's time to just, get it. It's time to get it. All right. I'm seeing those responses. Yes. And that's a great affirmation, which leads us to step number 5. And this is the last step: creating money rituals and routines to ensure you reach the finish line. Now, sis, I'm not even about to hold you. Let's say if you have a financial goal of saving $10,000 for your down payment for your first home, and you in month 3 and 4, you are going to be so tempted to just be like, all right, this is stupid. I don't feel any instant gratification because that money is just sitting there half the time. And put a 5 in the chat if you have been notorious for saving money, but then within a month or 2 you are spending the money that you saved. And it's kind of like a cycle where it's like, okay, I saved some money, but I need that money, or I want that money, so I'm gonna spend that money. Okay, I saved some money. Okay, wait a minute, I need that money, I want that money, let me spend that money. Okay, I saved some money. Like, we getting off of that in 2023. We're getting off of that cycle in 2023, and whatever it is that goes into our savings account, we keeping it there. Period. I'm keeping money in my savings account all 2023. And so I love to create monthly rituals and routines that keep me on track to get to the finish line, especially when I'm annoyed, especially when I'm bored with it, especially when I'm feeling a little discouraged, all of that. And so what I did was, and I have on the screen the budgeting bundle box and also the financial affirmation workbook. These are 2 products that I have on my website that pair really well with creating like some ritual and routines that my tribe was asking me for. But one thing that I was going to say, because you don't have to use these products, but somebody said, me, I'm guilty. Girl, you and me both. Still, I've been 10 plus years on my intentional financial journey. And one thing I always tell my tribe is that, listen, it's still a daily conscientious choice for me to manage money well. For some of us who are natural spenders and who are a little bit more impulsive, it's a daily struggle. It is a daily struggle. And that's why I have rituals and routines and constantly checking in with my budget, because girl, like, it's a daily struggle. Like, I was telling on the other workshop that I did about how Coach are sending me all these handbags, and I don't know why, but they know me so well. And so I am just like obsessed. They are on my Instagram. They don't come up on any other social media platform for me, but they come in my Instagram feed. And each and every time I'm like screenshotting it and sending it to my mother-in-law, like, oh my goodness, I have a financial goal, but I want this bag so bad. Like, every time they show them something new, and I'm just like, oh, it's taking everything out of me. And so between my husband, my mother-in-law, and my best friend, they're like, girl, don't do it. It'll be there. First of all, my mother-in-law, she's like a bargain shopper. She's like, first of all, that's going to go to the Coach outlet in a couple of months. Just wait. And that's going to be like half off or 75% off. First of all, don't even do it, right? Give me a 3 in the chat if you know all about from it going to Coach to the Coach outlet. Yeah, somebody said the wretched algorithm. Girl, they know me. They got me under their spell because them bags is crazy. But anyway, I love creating rituals and routines to ensure that things like the coach don't get me. And one of my biggest things are financial affirmations. I love financial affirmations. If you follow me at Your Pretty Pennies all over social media, on my Instagram, on my YouTube, on my Facebook, don't even matter. I actually post financial affirmations that are like scripture based, because I'm a believer. So that are scripture based that I recite to just keep positive words of money management in my mind. And so you can absolutely, they're free. I'll put them out so people can write them down, so they can post them, so they can recite them. So, they can really help transform your money mindset, especially if you are like me and you've made some past financial mistakes. And so you often find, negative thoughts or intrusive thoughts entering in your mind when it comes to managing money. My biggest way that I've overcome that, and what I call the money mindset reset, is really using affirmations and creating an affirmation practice that really allows me, whenever those negative thoughts or intrusive thoughts, and they still come even to this day, they still come. I'm married with 3 children and my husband is a provider, and I still sometimes get into the mindset of, will I have enough, like I did when I was first starting off as a single mother, right? And so I have to use these affirmations still to this day to make sure I'm like staying in the right mind, in a positive mindset, that I'm not telling myself this is useless, this is worthless, I'm not going to be able to do it, my goal is too ambitious, or who do I think I am, all that negative stuff that comes up in our mind, or that society tells us, right? And so using financial affirmations is really a game changer. All right. So that is the end of my presentation. I am now going to accept any questions you have, and it don't have to necessarily be pertaining to this. If anything pops up in your head and related to money, let's talk about it. Let's chat about it. I have about 25 minutes ready for questions. So you can raise your hand like someone did and come on screen, or you can just pop them in the chat. Either way works. So I am going to stop the share, and then we're going to do that, and I'm going to stop the recording just so I don't have anyone's personal face or information on the screen.